The feel-good comedy hit of the summer is here. In case you don't know, we're obviously talking about Final Destination Bloodlines, the movie where everyone dies in spectacular fashion with hilarious results. I'm joined by Addy for yet another review, and gotta say, man, this was a good movie. Can't believe it. We finally watched a movie that was actually good, that we were excited to watch, and lived up to the hype. I was super pumped to see this. I feel like the trailers did such a great job of showing the suspense, the build-up of the kills without actually showing how people die. But they did something really smart. They showed some footage that wasn't in the actual movie. And I love that because I'm so sick of trailers spoiling movies.
You know what my favorite part about this film is?
What?
Final Destination Bloodlines is the first film this year that justified everything.
Yeah.
There was not a single plot hole that I could spot, and usually I'm on that shit and it buggers me to the end of days. Whereas with Final Destination Bloodlines, every character was justified in their actions. Every story point was justified to happen, and there was nothing out of place, which is weird for a movie that is that much out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Like, if you told me 5 years ago that I was going to review a Final Destination movie and that was going to be the most logical, you know, plot hole, non-existent movie of the year, I would have been like, what? Like, because all the sequels have some plot holes in them.
Absolutely.
There was actually a moment after we watched this where you were saying to me, oh, I hate that this thing happened because that wasn't justified. And then we talked about it and I was like, no, it actually was. They covered their tracks.
Yeah,
they did a really good job.
I love this kind of world build-up. Every movie is an anthology, meaning that every movie is existing in the same world, but totally separate stories. And I love that. So Tony Todd is one character that exists in every film.
I'm pretty sure he's almost in every movie. There might be one or two sequels he's not in,
might
but
miss
he
out here and
was
there, but-
a reoccurring character.
And in this, and the thing I love is that this movie justified it. Why he is a recurring character throughout all the films. It just, I love that. And based on the premonition that happened in the 50s, is the setup for the other 5 films. If you think about it, they're one of the bloodlines. All these kids throughout all these years that all died.
They all could have been.
They all would have been, either them or their parents would have been at that party.
Yeah.
It's fucking phenomenal. So this movie, it happened after everything else, yet sets up everything that happened before.
But it doesn't go crazy.
It doesn't go crazy on it.
To the point where it's like, oh, this person was related to this, like, of explaining and being like, you know, it doesn't do it in a way where you're like, oh man, this is making my head hurt. It just goes like, it shows you like the outline of it and is like, yeah, you work it out. One thing I was gonna say is the way they treated Tony Todd in his final performance, his send-off, was fucking brilliant, because there was a wink and a nod to the audience of like, I know this is my final performance. I know I'm going out. I'm going to enjoy what little life I have left, which makes sense for the real life actor and for the character in the context of the story. It was just so fucking brilliant the way they did that. I loved it. I will explain one drawback, I must say. Similar to what we said about the trailers, it's reminiscent of just modern film industry. The CGI is just a little bit too much for me. Like, it's gonna date this movie a lot more than the first 2 films. They had CGI, but they didn't overdo it. They didn't overcook it. So there's lots of moments where you're like, okay, I can tell that that knife is in, like, that it's there, that it's not a fake knife or, you know, whatever objects in relation to the deaths. But in this, you just feel like nothing's really there on the screen. It just looks too fake. Whereas, as I'm thinking about it, I'm really excited to go back and revisit Final Destination 1 and 2, especially because those deaths have a lot more impact because of the real practical effects used. So it's a small gripe, but it's something that you just see in every movie these days, and you kind of just have to accept it as that's the way it is.
I'm not an expert when it comes to death or death bodies, but some things are just common sense and some things are not. So the way the CGI works in some films is too much, and you can tell it's just fake, which is a shame. But overall, I didn't mind it. In a film that's this much near perfection, I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it's like a nitpicky thing.
It's nitpicky.
I was still pissing myself laughing at some of the deaths.
Speaking of great things, though, Richard Hammond, what a great thing he did.
Yeah, he is
He's
a perfect,
phenomenal.
likable dick.
He's
Just
a perfect likable dick. He's the perfect likable
like
dick.
every time he was on screen, every joke they gave him landed, every emotional beat landed. He was one of those actors that, in movies like this, I feel like it's hard for actors to stand out. But every now and then, when you can tell when an actor is like a higher caliber to the rest of the crew, the rest of the cast, that's what I felt with this guy. I was like, I don't want to see him die. I hope he doesn't get killed off quick, because he's like a key highlight as far as the characters in this movie, because the rest of the characters aren't given a lot. But at least he was, he shined through. There wasn't anyone that I really wanted to see die.
No,
everyone
they did it
quite
so good. That's what I mean. It's like there was no unlikable characters. It's just some people that were just a little bit annoying, but knowing they're going to die is kind of satisfying and gives you a reason. It's like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy you being a dickhead because you're going to die soon enough.
But you know what? In the sequels, so many people die because they're still skeptical of that death is coming after them. So they're just living their life normally, and the main character and maybe someone else are running around being like, we've got to get to them, we've got to convince them before they die. Whereas in this, it doesn't happen that often before everyone smartens up and is like, all right, let's walk slowly, let's look around, be careful. I feel like something could happen there. I can see something coming from here. I felt like the characters were so much smarter than they are in other Final Destination movies.
They absolutely were, and I think it comes hand in hand with the fact that it's a family dynamic.
Yeah.
Because they trust each other. They believe in each other.
And they've got the grandmother. Yeah. The grandmother's explained everything to the granddaughter. Then one person goes, and it's like, okay, that was kind of suspicious. But then the second one, and then it's like, okay, all right, we need to fucking stand together.
Yeah, exactly.
And work this out.
1 to 5.
I'd give this probably
4.5.
4.5. It's
wow. Okay,
I mean,
that's high for me. That's high.
4.5 because, you know, one, highly engaged, loved the concept, loved the change up in the concept. Doing things different with an existing franchise. It gave me exactly what I wanted. Brutal, hilarious kills, but also kept me engaged through the story of like this family and the characters. As I said, the only reason I'm not going to give it a 5 is because the CGI was a bit too much for me at times. And the other thing as well is now after watching it, all I want to do is watch all of them from start to finish again, which a sequel should do that for the right reasons, not to be like, oh, that was really shit, I'm going to go watch the originals, but more so, I loved that, I just want more of that now. What are you giving it out of 5?
All right, we're going to do a little bit of mathematics here, a bit of calculations. Let's start with the 5 out of 5. I think everything was really strong. I'm going to take a quarter of it for the trailer giving away a few things. So we're ending up on a 4.5 because of the CGI. Same thing. But I'm going to add an extra star for Richard.
So what, 5.5?
I'm giving it a 5.5 out of 5 stars.
Jeez, you really like
I love the movie. I had no idea I would love the movie so much. I was squirming, I was laughing, I had so many reactions in my body. We were cracking up. From a cinematic and story-wise, I cannot find the faults in the story. Like every character was thought through. Every character was unique, including Death. You never see him.
But it has an evil, fucked up sense of humor.
It has
as
an
well.
evil, up sense of humor, and it has a presence. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 5.5 out of 5 stars. Best film of the year.
Oh,
By far.
I would definitely say it probably is going to be the best film of the year for me.
And best film in the last few years I've seen. I'm gonna lie.
And that's it for us, guys. If you enjoyed this review, please like, share, and subscribe. And comment below, what are some of your favorite kills from the Final Destination franchise? Until next time, I'll see you soon.